All right. Okay. Now, why can't I see myself? This is weird. Okay. Oh, because the video's not on. There we go. There's Anthony. Hey, what's up, Anthony? Dude, I think your mute is on.
Oh, sorry. Is this better?
Yeah, that's way better.
Okay.
That's how you tell how old we are, is how long it takes us to get on Zoom. This is horrible, right? You're just like, am I doing this right? Is this on? Why is it my muted? My video was off, and then now your mute is on. It's just so funny.
I don't know how this works.
Yeah, this is wild, man. I guess we're the only ones here. I don't know if anybody's coming to this thing. It's a really bad idea, but we're doing it.
I think it's cool that you're doing a Zoom album.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because it's like, it's different things to worry about. Like the first album that we did together, it was like, we were just worried about people coming out to the club. It was like, is this joke going to hit? And with this, it's like, I'm just worried about, is my internet going to go out in the middle of it? I don't, you know what I mean? Like, am I going to freeze in the middle? Like, I have no idea.
It looks like people are starting to show up.
I guess we better hurry up and start this thing before people go to Pornhub or Netflix. We might lose them. It's all right. Cool, man. Freak it. All right, let's do it.
Dear God of rock and roll, are you there? It's me, Anthony. Anyway, I really want to be famous. I was wondering if maybe you could help me out with that?
No way, Yahweh, there is no God.
Oh, I'm sorry, who is this?
This is the Lord of the underworld.
Oh, I must have the wrong number. I was trying to dial 7.
Well, I'm afraid you've dialed wrong, 'cause you've reached 666.
Wow, my mistake. But hey, since I have you on the phone, would you maybe consider becoming my manager? Or maybe you just have some advice on how to write a really big hit song. What do I do?
All you have to do is sing about me, because the best way to sell art is with controversy. So let's all worship Satan together. It's just for business, not for pleasure. So let's all worship Satan together. It makes everyone's career so much better.
Okay, alright. I know what you're thinking. How could I ask the Prince of Darkness to be my manager? But look, all the stories you've heard about Satan, those are just rumors. You don't even know if they're true. And if Satan is really so bad, then why does he have so many nicknames? Where did those come from? He must have had at least a few friends. Oh, Lucifer, you old devil, you.
Let's all worship Satan together.
Okay, here's the thing. Even when they're not all that great, people just love songs about the devil. But even if this song becomes a really big hit, makes a lot of money, Satan will get paid most of the royalties. You know, that was the deal. But to hell with it. I'm not even worried about anything anymore. Plus, I already sold my soul to the devil, so I could get into heaven.
Let's all worship Satan together. It's just for right now, it's not for goes out of fashion, never mind whatever.
We're chasing comedy, working on jokes, working on bits, seeing what sticks, seeing what stinks. We're chasing comedy, politics and current events, cultural shifts and psychological bents, the daily news, your grandpa's views, conspiracy theories, trending Google queries. Either way, it's all okay. We're chasing comedy. So listen up and we'll lay it all out. Whether you're seeking wisdom or zoning out, have your fill, it's all just for the mill. With Brian and Dustin, and we're chasing comedy. We're Brian and Dustin, and we're chasing comedy.
Wait a minute. Are you in a log cabin somewhere, Dustin?
It was the same place last time.
Oh,
It's a barn.
that's right.
Leah's parents were potters. That's where
Really?
they do all their pottery. Oh, they're amazing potters. They're like they're retired, but they're phenomenal. It's like beautiful stuff. Like just
Amazing.
gorgeous, just unbelievable.
This
Yeah,
sounds like a front for a meth lab.
It's like this kind of stuff. It does. Well, it's a good place to bury a body because you just put somebody in the kiln, and they're just
Yeah,
incinerate them, and then they're done. Great
there
place.
you go.
Great place to get
That's
rid of the body.
perfect. That's when
Right.
Potter's Field came from, probably. You know. How's it going?
Good. Adam was talking about. We're talking about candy and stuff like Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas crap that you just can't stop eating.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Does
Yeah,
anyone?
'cause-
By the way, does anyone remember? Speaking of candy, does anyone remember Razzles?
Oh yeah.
No.
Weren't those
Wait,
like oh my God,
Eastern
what-
thing, I
what-
think.
What not whatchamacallits,
I remember
What you
that.
call it? Yes. Yeah.
it's like
Nerds.
a confetti, right? Like a confetti type of candy.
No. Well, you talking about? I don't know what that is. No, there was a chiclets. You mean like those chiclet things? Like they were little pieces of gum.
No, nobody means chiclets.
No, but I'm asking. You don't have to
When
hit
you
me with.
think of candy, you don't think of chiclets. I'll tell you that right now.
Of course not. I'm not saying anything. It's anything good.
It's
I'm saying
awful
that,
gum that lasts a half a second and the flavor's just gone. And you
Well, then
only
what
get it
is-
at Mexican restaurants.
Then what is Adam referring to?
I don't know. It's Eastern
confetti.
Candy and stuff like that is very, what do you call it? Geographical or locational or I don't know. But it's like certain
thought it
places
was-
have it. I didn't
I
have
thought it
that.
was-
I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Confetti. I don't know. What that
Really?
is. Confetti
Well,
candy.
no, because I used to have a joke where I'd say a guy, New York City people use like there's his to start the show and segue seamlessly into comedy here. There was a guy on the street corner in New York City. Everyone has the answers to everything. Do you believe in the existence of God? Do you believe that mankind? That the Earth is flat. There's people on every street corner. Do you believe that Jesus is your one and only Savior? Do you believe in the existence of God? And I'm like, dude, I'm still trying to figure out if Razzles is a gum or a candy. Okay, come back to me. Okay, now that's a very dated joke, I think, because that's not
Yeah.
circa 1980. You know what I mean? Like so.
We're very 80s
But it was always-
comics.
it always
We're
made
very
me
80s
laugh.
comics anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
try to
Yeah.
act like we're not. It's just it comes off very because we have setups and punches and if you have voices and I have like moods, swings. It's very 80s. What I was thinking was funny because Adam said that he had this candy that somebody called Christmas crack.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I worked this joke out with you guys, but I did a thing where I had a guy say he was a chocoholic, and he tried to relate to me with my sobriety, and I was like, yeah, I don't, I've eaten a lot of chocolate. I never ate so much chocolate. I ruined the first 10 years of my career. You know what I mean? Like I never ate so many Hershey Kisses. that had a meltdown on Last Comic Standing, And then Christmas crack, I would be like, yeah, does it make you like, would you trade your baby for it? Because that's what crack will make you do, something like that. Where it's
Okay, that's perfect. No, that's great. A setup is perfect. Love the premise.
Yeah.
Then you got to go with something about. I've never had like to take out a second mortgage on my house. Something about a pawn shop. It's got to be something darker that's like more drug related. I think instead of just like you ruining your career. I mean, ruining your career is obviously cool, but I think my instinct says something about
Christmas crack. I feel like bumps it up and then it goes into like a drug thing, but giving away a baby or whatever. But
or selling something on. I never sold my mom's wedding ring on Craigslist for a dime bag. If some, you know what I mean, like
for a bag of Reese's trees, or something.
Right.
for
right.
Is that the Christmas crack?
Yep, that's Christmas crack.
I mean, I might, I don't know. I might. There's a lot I might do for that, but I don't. I don't know if I'm working under the bridge.
You got to strip mine. Yeah. I've never had that.
Sell my car for it. I don't know, but I think that's kind of a joke where it's just kind of like, because I feel like I don't mean to take over, but the idea of like the culture it takes a lot of language from like addiction, like we binge television. It's like, I don't know if you've ever binged, but last time I binged, I woke up in a hospital, like handcuffed to a bed. You know what I mean? Like it's like, it's like, and it wasn't because I watched too many episodes of Ozark. It was, just the.
No.
Just the language. They're stealing our language in like marketing, and it drives me nuts.
Right. The addiction here, right there. The addiction dictionary, the addictionary, whatever. Yeah. The addictionary is replete with all of this terminology that's just been like used to describe people's minor issues. So your whole thing about
issues. It's just like trying to act like a cinnamon. I guess maybe a cinnamon bun is. To some people, like, whiskey and cocaine was for me. You know what I mean? Maybe it is. I guess it is. I mean, I've seen some people that weigh like 600 pounds. So maybe that is their thing. So I don't want to take away from that. I'm not trying to act like.
No, you need to take away from that. That's what you have to do. No, seriously. I'm sorry. Those are not even remotely. That's your angle. Look, I don't want to take away from that, but I'm going to. Because
I just feel like, I don't know. It's like the food one thing is interesting because it's like, I don't know. I guess all of it you don't have to do, but I feel like there's just some drugs that just lock you in. That heroin is heroin. You know what I mean? There's no dark chocolate that's as good as heroin. Like, stop trying to get me to try this chocolate because it's heroin. Like, it's not heroin.
Look, there are addictions.
I've had heroin, and it's not like it's better than dark chocolate. Let me tell you.
Okay. Yeah. You don't have to go on the dark web to get Hershey's Kisses. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why you have to go on the dark web. There's a reason why there's laws. Because you can tell the extent of how dangerous an addiction is by the prison time you have to do for dealing it. You know what I mean? Willy Wonka never got. Isn't a lifer on like Carlos
bad
Escobar.
Example. I feel like he would do time in this day and age with all those weird experimental candies. I think he would probably do some prison time.
Right, but there's a difference between. Look, I'm sorry to say this, guys. I don't want to knock your grandiosity and believing that your particular whatever's like your obsession is the same level as give me is there a famous heroin addict? Is there somebody like what's the guy from
all the rock stars, Hendrix and Joplin and all that?
No, the two who's the two people that died? Sid Vicious and Nancy Spungen. Courtney Love. Courtney Love and so
well, that's funny too. Like, I never, that's funny. But like, I never had super fudge chunk, then wanted to stab my girlfriend.
Right, something like that.
No,
and then you can say that, like, look, there's a big there's a big lag time. There's a big gap between Pablo Escobar and Willy Wonka. I'm sorry, the two the two people. You're trying to like say that the two people are yeah, exactly. Now get me Pablo Escobar. If you
You
can
can't find him.
Carlos-
He's in a tunnel. He's in a tunnel somewhere.
Oh, that's so funny. That's a funny angle. You know what I mean? Look, I know
Yeah.
Willy Wonka had his
That's funny.
faults, but he's no Pablo Escobar.
No, it takes it beyond like that level of just like the dealer and like the prison time you do for it and all that
Yes.
stuff. Where
yeah. I mean, the feds
I
are
mean, I
not
don't want to
after
get too
Willy.
deep with it, but you could
I know,
go,
but
you could go down the like fentanyl thing and all that, and then but I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that.
No. But I like
Keep it a little light.
I like
yeah.
the feds are
But
I
I
mean,
also,
I
I
don't
just
know
want to think if there's other like like I guess I don't know, ads or whatever, people trying to act like, they're because I do that whole thing where I say I'm addicted to exercise, or I'm not. A guy told me he was addicted to exercise. I don't know if you heard that bit. And I say, I don't know about you, I never blacked out and woke up with abs, just wound up on a treadmill with one shoe. Like, how'd I get here?
That's great.
So
great.
I'm trying to do
Love it.
more jokes like that to kind of like
Yeah.
compact this thing where it's just like a bunch of those kind of
Yeah.
jokes.
Oh, it's
So,
great.
Yeah, I'm
That's
just trying to do
great.
like a melody of those, like
Yeah, because
Chocoholic.
if you that's
there
really
you go.
funny.
There you
That
go.
is so friggin' funny.
Yeah,
oh my
that's
god.
a T-shirt right there.
Yeah.
You never see
Or-
these two
or-
together ever. So
Oh, okay. If you want to go for alliteration on this, there's a big leap between Walter White and Willy Wonka. You know what I
there
mean?
you go.
Like
Walter White's pretty good. That sounds
Walter-
better actually.
Yeah, it's
Just like
alliteration. I
The
love.
verbal, yeah, it just sounds.
Yeah, Pablo Escobar. It was just my first thought, but Walter White is better. They're
Yeah.
both fictional characters, but the DEA. I don't remember the DEA sending a SWAT team to the Wonka. What is it? The chocolate factory. Like
Yeah,
what do
or
they call those things?
they're not storming Hershey, like or
Yeah.
something.
They're not. What is it? Isn't there like some city, Hershey City, or
Hershey,
something
Pennsylvania.
like that?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's not a huge raid. The DEA is not staking out, sending a SWAT team to Hershey, Pennsylvania is funny because it's subtle. Sending a like SWAT team with what's those things? A battering ram? Those things that they knock on the door, doing a knock raid on. They're doing a knock raid on Willy Wonka's place in Hershey, Pennsylvania. You can combine them. It's kind of funny. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. I think I like it kind of just that might, yeah. I don't know. Well, we'll see. I think I just kind of would have. It's just if they lock into the whole like Willy Wonka thing, but I want to keep it on just kind of how people just use it loosely. It's more. I don't want to get too lost in the characterization
Sure.
of the Willy Wonka and all that. I kind of want to keep it on how people are like yeah, I almost like I have a sponsor, because I eat too much, chicken or whatever. Like just something like, I don't know, just something kind of what we were doing. Just
It's
like
crack. I'm sorry. So you got everything's
because crack is a big one. Crack is a big one because I've heard a lot of things. There's trivia crack. There's like I've just seen stuff that's like related to crack. I don't know, like as an advertisement, like the chicken crack or something. So
yeah,
I don't know.
So you gotta do something by pawn my girlfriend's jewelry.
Yeah, I like that.
I pawn my girlfriend's jewelry.
I think grandma's ring or something even,
yeah, something like that. Yeah, to get myself a Reese's, a bag of Reese's Pieces. But yeah,
I think Adam is addicted to Willy Wonka pictures. That's what I think.
Well, this is Willy Wonka with the.
That?
This is Willy Wonka with the blue meth from Breaking Bad.
Oh my god, that is the
That's
funniest
hilarious.
thing. That would be the ultimate parody where they really find out that Willy Wonka is actually dealing meth. That's so freaking funny.
Yeah.
Because hey, it should have known that because the Oompa Loompas are almost the same color. Okay,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I mean, come
Well,
on.
I think it's because I have that.
WW, Walter White, Willy Wonka, WW.
go.
Come on, guys.
There you go. All come together. Well, that's the joke. Like we worked on that thing before. One of our first jokes that I did that we worked on together was that whole thing about candy cigarettes and pixie sticks and all
Yes.
that kind of being gateway drugs to the real drugs.
Yeah.
And so and
All
I
of
still,
this connects.
yeah, I just have to find a way for it to like
I mean,
just,
Dustin, this is really great because it's deeply personal, and you should just really reveal a lot in this. I think it's great.
yeah, well,
You're,
yeah. I mean, the next special I want to do just all addiction stuff. So this is something I really want to. I just kind of anything that can kind of I can add on to what I'm already trying to do is good. But
Yeah.
but I just think it's just so funny how people like insensitively just bring up words like crack and heroin and stuff, comparing it
Right.
to like just
That's so
gums.
funny. Oh my goodness, look
Yeah.
at that. That is just like Dad. Hey,
Yeah.
Dad, can I bum a smoke?
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Well, that's
Okay,
yeah.
this
I
is-
mean, I love this because it's like I do a pretty good joke on it, but I think we could go even further too because it's like because that's the thing is it's like I had some hard ones on it too. I was a bit that
Mhm.
sometimes divide the crowd. I'd be like, yeah, I'm sitting there trying to get fake cancer, and I'm like 9, with my fake cigarette. So,
Yeah.
it's like
Toy, toy chemo.
Yeah.
Like, that chemo set or something
yeah,
like
you
that.
got a chemo set. That's hilarious. You got a little
And
ball
get-
cap. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
I love it.
How about no, but what about the operation game? Take out metastasized liver. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh no, that is
it's
so
like
bad. I'm trying that just
Yeah.
once to see what that
Yeah.
feels like.
No, but that thing with the
Yeah, what
Dad,
does it
can I
come with?
bu-
A little chemo? Like what's the word? Like a little chemo. You gotta think of a
Chemo-
word like
scan,
chemo.
chemo scan, chemo.
No, but like
Yeah.
like you buy a cowboy uniform with like guns and
Chemo kit.
chemo kit. It comes with like a little. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
need one word that sounds like children's game or children like a chemo children's kit or a chemo play kit. Chemo play kit maybe. Chemos.
Chemo play kit's not bad. Chemo.
Yeah, something like that. Like it's got to sound like
kitty chemo kit.
something you buy your
play-
kid, like the
Yeah,
kid
but
wants
no,
to be
I
a
think
chef and it's got a hat in it and everything and fake, rubber eggs or whatever.
No, chemo play kit's the answer.
Yeah,
I think.
chemo play kit. But that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
just look like it should be on the package of chemo play kit. That's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
Here we
funny.
go.
It's horrible. But so that's that's something that I just play with. It's funny. This weekend I was in Des Moines, Iowa, and I was at a Funny Bone, and I was on stage, and it was like the first show was kind of whatever because I had a horrible traveling experience. That's the thing about stand up is it's 85% travel. And and then the rest is comedy and luck and whatever. But it's like so much of it is just getting, this where you're just getting to the gig, and so you're just like, and you don't know what's going to happen because you're either going to have a smooth transition of travel and you just get there and everything's fine, or you're going to have to sleep in the airport and you're going to have to do all and that's what I did. They canceled my connecting flight, had to sleep in the airport. Like all this, you just get to the gig, you're banged up. It's right before the show starts, like all that awfulness of just, no prep, no rest, no nothing. And then you just have to get up there and dance. And it's just like, it's so horrible. It's like, so I had these shows, but there's one thing I want to get to. And then some guy was saying, and I had a pretty good show on Friday. And then Saturday, I really loved the show. And then, the guy told me, the sound guy. There's always a guy, like everything is always great. Like the club's always amazing. Usually, I think 9 times out of 10, the clubs are pretty great. But then there's like it's either a local comic or a sound guy, and they'll just say something, and you'll be like, "All right, dude." Like, so they basically say, "It looks like I'm not having fun on stage." And so, and I told him, I said, dude, you're misreading. I go, and I was like, this is my happy face. Like, this is as happy as I get. Like, when I'm at Disneyland, I got this face on. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Now, wait, the engineer said this, the sound guy or the comic?
Yeah, it was just like, you don't look like you're happy on stage. And I was just like, I go, when you're doing comedy, I don't look happy when I'm doing comedy. And I was just like, I go, and then I was just like, dude, I like, I OD'd. Speaking of OD'd, died, on came back. They brought me back. When there's an afterlife, by the way. I, saw my grandpa Bud, and it was like, and so the fact that like that's, I don't know, there's just something funny about like going through all these
You
things
talk
in my
about
life.
this on stage. You talk about the dying.
Well, I'm doing
on
it right
stage?
now. Like, this is what I
Oh,
want to talk about because this just
yeah,
happened. So it's like,
yeah.
that's the thing where it's like when somebody says, it's like you don't look happy, and then it's like I don't know. There's just something funny because people say it to women all the time. It's like, would it kill you to
Well,
smile?
happiness. Yeah, I know. It's like that's
Yeah.
kind of funny. It's
Yeah.
like I like you said that smile that's like a degrade, but but any guy can say that to another guy. You don't look happy. Okay, this is ecstasy. Okay, this is me ecstatic right now.
That's
Okay,
funny. That's funny.
there's a curve, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know if you know my history, but I was and then you give a long drawn out
just
thing
crazy
where
stuff I've been through and stuff.
Yeah. They pumped my stomach because I was dead. I was gaunt. Use the word gaunt. I was filled with awash in self-loathing. I had overdosed and was choking on my own vomit. So you see this face? This is the face of ecstasy right now. And I hate the fact that ecstasy is a drug. So
I'm sorry if a little pain seeks through once in a while.
Yeah. This is giddy, sir. This is the definition of giddy. Okay. I don't know. For me, I'm always expecting. See, you can turn this around and say, I try to be happy, but there's something. Let's say he's right. Let's say he's got something there, and he's saying, let's go with it and say maybe just another alternate way of looking at the joke, but to say, and I think it's because of my history that I don't want to get too giddy, like there's a break on my happiness, right? Like that. If I go too far, I don't know. If that speaks to you? It speaks to me.
That's good. And then it's the idea of like, do you have to be happy at your job? You know what I mean? Like, you don't like, can't you just like, I mean, I would never do anything else, but I don't have to be, completely happy, It's like, I'm sure every great job at some point, there's a time where you're just like, here we go.
Yeah, I feel,
I'm sure there's a surgeon at one point. It's like, okay, here we go, 995. Let's open that brain,
But I mean, that would be funny. That wouldn't be something you would say. I know, but that's funny. Exactly. That you wouldn't say that to a guy doing surgery. Like, you're not having fun out there. I watched the operation, and it didn't link that you were really, really enjoying yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, in what job are you expected to be? I mean, what am I? Like the bluebird of happiness? I'm supposed to be dancing on stage, like what job? Hey guys, you're a coal miner. But it doesn't look like you're really enjoying yourselves out there, right?
Well, that's the falsehood of what comedy is. That's the reason why. That's why the tragedy of Robin Williams and all those things people just don't understand it, because it's like, they think we're just out there like, hey, dancing monkeys, and so that's there's something kind of funny about that, where it's just like, I don't know if it's funny, it's actually real, of just, I don't know.
Right.
Just when you're doing comedies, people expect you to be happy, I guess. But,
Yeah.
But there's some jobs like that. Like, you can't be like a, rockette dancer with a scowl on your face, or you can't be there's certain jobs where you have to kind of be peppy. But comedy is not one of them. I don't know. Sam Kinison proved that, Stephen Wright proved that. Like, there's plenty of guys that their face, they don't look like, they don't have a stand-up comedy face,
Yeah. Also, you can turn it around and say, hey, can you make with the dials on the thing, and are you? I don't see a lot of ecstasy pouring out of you when you're turning the reverb dial on the sound system. You know what I mean?
It might be more of a podcast thing than a thing, but there is something just kind of funny about just maybe just touching on it, where people think I'm not happy when I'm doing comedy, and I could just kind of make kind of like a real moment that's actually happening with the crowd. But just the idea. But I do like listing off all these things I've been through, and then be like, and then I love your punch, was like, this is the look of ecstasy, just
right.
Yeah. Kind of.
This is my ecstasy face.
Yeah.
This is my ecstasy face. Yeah. And I've done ecstasy, and I wasn't as happy as this, like something like that, and it wasn't as good as this. I was pretty happy
when I did ecstasy. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. That's right.
The best drug ever. Adam knows.
This ain't fentanyl. This ain't fentanyl face, Okay.
Yeah.
fentanyl face or something.
So,
Yeah, ecstasy. That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's like I can play with that a little bit. It's a little inside baseball, but I think it's like, but it's interesting because there is kind of this illusion that you have to be, happy to make people happy. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. I mean, look at prostitutes, it's
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know, or something
Right.
like that. Like something like, where it's just like you don't have to be happy to make people happy. I don't know. I like the
No,
idea.
but I do like the idea that a job
Yeah.
is a job, and you wouldn't say that. Aren't you having fun out there, like a cop
Yeah.
or an assassin or a hitman or
Well,
you know,
comedy.
if you're not gonna
Yeah.
you're not gonna enjoy yourself, don't do it, dude.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna take pride in your drug dealing or whatever, or being
Yeah.
an international assassin or a hitman or a cop or a brain surgeon or a coal miner, look, if you can't have fun doing it, you should do something else, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like kind of weird, we're all like in the what is Adam got? That is so great. There's a man whistling on his way to work.
Right?
You want me to
Yeah.
whistle while I work?
But yeah, but I don't like working at all. I think that's the problem.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes stand up feels like that. And then you just like, because my deal is like, if you're like a tight crowd or whatever, I get really angry by that because I'm like, dude, like, like I've never gone to like there's something about this that makes me laugh for a second. I just thought of it, but it's like you're trying to make my job harder. It's not like when I go to a restaurant, like as soon as the waiter's gone, I don't rearrange all the plates on the table. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to I'm not going to make their job harder for me. Like there's something funny there where it's just like the audience trying to make the job harder for the comedian. Like I don't go to a doctor's office. He's like, can you take off your clothes? And then I put on like 3 pairs of pants. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
It's just something.
I'm going to throw as many orange safety cones in the guy's way.
Yeah. There's just
mess with the guy.
Like there's something about the energy of that drives me insane, where it's just like they got this straight look on their face. They're trying not to laugh. They're trying to be dicky. And you're just like, I don't know. I just have never gone. Like, I don't go to a concert and just stand there. I jump around and I'm dancing and I'm helping the band because I know they need me to get that, to make that happen.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the joke is here. Like, I know what you're saying.
It may not be a joke. I may just need to
comedy. No, but comedy,
that.
stand-up comedy is unique. I've always talked about this. Stand-up comedy is unique in that it has one of the dynamics that often you notice with it is an adversarial relationship between performer and audience, which doesn't exist in any other art form. Although you could say it in sports where they're heckling and yelling at the other team, but I guess. But in music, nobody. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to mess up the guy's guitar solo.
Oh, well, here's another thing. Here's another thing. Like, sometimes like this bothers me. And this is part of the realm of the show. So we talk about, the stand-up, the behind the scenes or whatever, as well as write the jokes. But like when you have a set where the audience was tough and you break through and you get up there, and we've talked about this before a little bit, and you're just like, you found a way to turn them. You found kind of that energy that they needed. You found a material that they could latch onto. And then you basically do all this work and you're sweating and you're doing it. Yeah. And then as soon as you get off stage, somebody says, "Tough crowd, huh?" And then you just want to punch them in the neck because it's like, it's almost like a football player that scores, 2 touchdowns. And at the end of the game, somebody says, "Oh man, yeah, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, but you got tackled a lot, dude." I mean, you guys went into overtime. It should have been way easier for you. You should have won that game it should have been way easier, bro. You should have been tackleless. They should have tackled you at all during the game. Like you should have just, there's something like sports. Because I thought about the football player. It made me laugh. I was like, yeah, nobody does that. Yeah, I might have won in overtime and barely. But I won.
Yeah, oftentimes on stage, people don't notice the overwhelming degree of difficulty and the struggle that you're going through.
Yeah.
Like in order to just get them on your side at all. It's like a Sisyphean task. It's this titanic struggle. And then you win them over. And then somebody will be like, hey, were you off tonight? Or they seem like and it was like, do you know what I just did over there?
Yes.
Do you realize
They're
what I
good
just
now.
accomplished?
They're good
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. I resuscitated a corpse. Okay.
Yeah.
I brought the corpse back to life. Okay. I can see Adam thinking right now.
Right.
Well, and
dead
that's the thing.
comedian on
That's the
stage.
thing,
I don't know what
Brian.
Adam.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Brian. It's like they say all that, and you're like, this is the funniest thing to me. Yeah, I know they were tough. I was up there. I felt
know.
every feeling in that room. I felt the guy's anxiety in the corner. I felt the other guy whose dad won't talk to him. Like I felt everything happening in that room. You trying to tell me it was rough? I was up there. You don't need to tell me that. I'm sorry. I had to get that out. But
Dustin Chafin therapy hour today, right?
no, but it is therapy hour because it's like people just don't they don't get it, and it's just like they don't know how to talk to people. And
well, it's funny. This art form, it's one of those things we always talk about. Comedy and being funny, and humor is something that is unique in that everyone, to some degree, thinks that they have a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Okay. And everyone thinks they're like what we do. They think I'm funny too. No one would, you know what I mean? Like people dare to give us jokes at the end of a set. It's embarrassing. You know, it's like I got one for you. It's like, gee, thanks, dude. You know, like I never, you know, I was really lost in the wilderness on my stand-up act until you came along, right? Like you know, like
yeah. Well, it boils down to one thing. When you're not famous, you just do not get that respect, and so you have to win them over in a short amount of time in order for the whole thing to flow. And so if you play around too much and they're not feeling you, or you're not going into a bit right away, or what, it's completely difficult, because that's the thing. The hardest thing in stand-up comedy is being a comedian and not being famous. And I'm around a lot of famous comedians, and they, I feel it gets easier to write, to to do the new jokes, because they're so happy that it's you, and they'll take anything. Where it's like, if we do a misstep in a new joke, it's just done. But it's like if Chris Rock does it, he's gonna work that out. That's gonna be great, and then they kind of go with it.
But you could also make the I'll get to play devil's advocate in the sense that I understand exactly what you're saying. That dynamic is totally true. There's another aspect of that like Steve Martin and Chris Rock has even, I think, talked about this, whereas that you're such a big star that you don't even know what's funny anymore, because people do. Their support for you, their adulation for you, their amazement at just being in the presence of celebrity, sort of like it doesn't even. That's why some comics don't have the, but they become famous and they kind of maybe lose their edge or something like that. Like because the audience is like laughing before they even say the joke. They're like,
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with people just not really thinking I'm that funny, but I think they think I'm funny. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Well, that's legitimate.
I think working with Nate is I've seen a lot with it, and sometimes it's like that style of comedy, like they'll still come out and not know who he is. It's rare, but it'll happen. I mean, we were in New Orleans, and it was like people were just, drunk people coming to a show at a theater, but they didn't really know who the guy was. And when you're drunk, Nate is not that kind of comic for you. It's like, and so, they were heckling, and it had to be removed, and it was like a whole thing. But it was just like it was interesting to see him at a certain level and still kind of get that, because it does happen. But I know what you're saying, and I know what you're saying. It is hard to work out. I think, but I think it has to do with just I think the real comics go to the clubs, and they never step away from that grind of making the new stuff work. And I think that's how that's how those guys stay relevant. And like, I mean, Chris Rock can say that, but I've also seen Chris Rock bomb for an hour on new material, and people not getting. I've seen Chappelle tank and stuff. So sometimes, you like like tourists, somebody from Finland isn't just going to give Chappelle love, So he's got to earn that Finnish laugh,
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, that ain't. Ain't nothing.
That's why New York is the best place to do comedy, because a lot of those people, they're not even from the freaking country. So you get a pretty good gauge. You know, they're not just giving it to you.
Absolutely. It's great. It's a brutal, it's still brutal. And I'm somebody needs to like explain what it is exactly, like from the psychological perspective of when you're going up. And you know this as well as anybody. You go up and you're bombing, or you're not doing well. It's not because of you. The crowd kind of sucks, and then you'll trash the crowd. You'll say something that you kind of like calls out the fact that you're not doing well, and then the audience likes you. You know, that happens. Like, I can't even tell you how many immediately the audience's response level and respect for you rises, because you, I guess, spontaneously recognized and you haven't backed down from the challenge. I'm not exactly sure what the psychology is, but there's something fascinating about the fact that I've saved more sets by talking about how bad I'm doing than I would ever do, but just by doing good. You know, like I can't even tell you how many sets that have been immediately transformed into turned around just by me saying something to the effect of like, well, this is not going nearly as well as I had hoped, or whatever. And then the audience is like, you know, and then
there's a shift that's happening with audiences. Obviously, it happens, you know, with age. People age out, whatever. New crops of people come in, young generations or whatnot. I think there's definitely they want to. Some audiences do want to be, you know, picked on or tortured or whatever. I mean, there's definitely the idea of that. You know, people come to comedy because of the trend they're seeing on TikTok or whatever of comics picking on and playing with the crowd or crowd work or whatever. So I think sometimes when you just sometimes they think they're going to get something, then they don't get it, and then they don't want material, and then you have to break down and do that, and then it's like, oh yeah, this is why we came here, you know, and then they start to
exactly,
because that's the experience that they wanted. They didn't want your you know, amazing joke about, like, you know, petting zoos and no arms and all that, which is brilliantly put together. They want you to just make fun of their friend's, you know, captain's hat or whatever.
Exactly.
Can we get a guy in a captain's hat, please? Thanks. But it never seems to amaze me though, because it's like, you know, comedy's tougher for me sometimes because of the fact. But I opened with this. I said, you know, it was a full room, the Funny Bone, which is big, you know, big chain, whatever. And I looked in the crowd and I go, how many people know who I am?
That's really,
and
that's
nobody
funny.
really did anything. And I go, yeah, this feels like a Groupon situation. I feel like there was an email blast. It's like they were late for the movie. And so I was the option, but nobody knows.
Okay, you know what's funny about that?
I said this. I go, stand-up comedy is the only art form where you just go in and see who it is. Like, you have no idea. Like, you don't go to a movie. Like, where do you go? What movie are you going to see? I don't know. We're just going to go in and sit down and see what starts.
Right. That's so true. That's really funny. Yeah. But I mean,
just you know, just go. I'm going to movie theater 3 and just see
like
what's going on.
It's like potluck. It's like Secret Santa. You know, it's like entertainment Secret Santa. You know,
but it helped my insecurity though. It really was a good way to kind of be like, all right. So because I was going to act like they were my fans and just be like, all right, dude, let's do this. Here's what's going on right now. So
it could be The Godfather. It could be The Godfather. It could be, you know,
Lady Bird. You don't know. Yeah, you don't know what's happening.
Bad movie. Yeah, name a really bad movie, but like, you know, it could be. I don't know what one. Yeah, so that's funny. I don't know if there's something there, but
I could be a juggler. Like, you don't know what you're getting. You don't know what you're getting. Yeah, that could put it on me too. Like, you don't know what kind of comic I am. You're just like. But that's the thing.
There's something funny about that, because I haven't had the balls to do this on stage, but I at the Cellar, I wanted to say, and maybe it's not that funny, but I wanted to say, just go, because sometimes she puts me up first, and I wanted to say, it's great to be here at the legendary Comedy Cellar, where on any given night you can see some of the biggest names in comedy, or on an average night, me. Right, which I think is kind of funny, but it doesn't. But I think I did it once and it got nothing. So
Yeah.
I never did it again. You know, like it, and I don't know why that made me laugh in my head.
We
Like
talked
I
about
thought that
this,
was kind of.
and you're definitely a little bigger comic than me, and I feel like when they see you, with your credits and people and your voices and all the stuff, the presence you have is very kind of, I look like I could have
Well,
been working at the gas station, and then now I'm just grabbing this microphone. So, but you have a presence about you that you're a pro. Where I'm like,
Yeah, but
did
I'm
this guy
not.
just do
But I'm
meth
not.
and now
But
he's
I'm
doing
not a
comedy?
name. But I'm not a name.
You are in New
I
York.
thought.
Yeah, a little bit like you are. It's just
yeah.
like, you sell out governors. They're actually there to see you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Half full.
I'll take
half
your word
full.
for it.
Half full.
I'll take your word for it. Yeah. Exactly. Thank you.
The early show was full.
Yeah. The one show. The one
That's
show
all right.
that
I got
probably
one
would have sold
canceled
out.
this weekend, so I get it. But no, there's something. But no, we talked about this because I said, it's funny. I'm almost contradicting myself, but I feel like we did a bit on this where we were talking about how you were trying to like trash yourself a little bit, and then I said sometimes the audience thinks we're stars, and I think that in that situation, the way that's presented, they're at the Comedy Cellar, they're New York City. Like you're on stage. They
That's
I
true.
think they think you're a star. With me, it's like I'm in the middle of Iowa. They just assume I'm not a star.
Well, that may be why the bit never worked. I thought the line was funny.
Think it's
just
why
like
it didn't work. Yeah, because it's just it doesn't. They assume that you're a star.
Well, that's good to know.
I think at some clubs it would work. I think if you were at like just somewhere else, it's just something about the cellar and all that stuff. I think it's like they assume you're Colin Quinn's cousin or something. But
right. Okay. Hey, can we do a joke success story?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like this. This is a good segment. Here we go. What do we got?
Yeah. Well, because I'm not even sure if we did it in here or it probably came out of here because I know I brought it up. But I had a three joke arc in the and the woman comes up to me and says, "Why?" And you tell me if we have to edit this, but but the woman comes up to me
in advance.
I do the petting zoo joke, and then the woman says, and then some people get offended by jokes. So a woman came up to me, she said, "I have a disabled child at home, and I didn't think that joke was funny." And I said, "Well, that's why I did it here and not at your place." Okay. And if you don't tell them, I won't. Okay, and that always killed. And then the third joke, and then I needed the second joke, which I think we'd workshopped in here, several options for that. And I finally got one that kills now because it's basically a performance piece. The woman, so some people get offended by jokes. A woman came up to me, she said, hey, I have a disabled child at home, and I didn't think that joke was funny. And I said, well, that's why I did it here and not at your place. And if you don't tell them, I won't. And she said, well, have you always done jokes about the disabled in your act? I said, no, but I'm trying to make my act more inclusive. Right? Right? Okay, that's the part that I couldn't get, and that joke's been killing, right?
Nice.
No, but have you always done jokes about the disabled in your act? No, but I've been trying to make my act more inclusive, right? And then she said, then she said, well, what if there were people without arms in the audience? How do you think they would react? I said, well, they wouldn't be applauding. Okay, okay, okay. Now I love that joke, but I need a tag on that. I don't know if we worked on the tag on that because I still feel like there's another line, a tag on that joke. And I still I'm not happy with it where it's like, they wouldn't be applauding. I don't want to say because they can't, because that's hack. But I want to say something because the audience does the whole, ooh, like the whole, but they laugh hysterically. They can't stop themselves.
Yeah.
So it's like,
at the no arms part.
Yeah. They laugh. They can't stop themselves. It's like the third joke is killer.
Be applauding. Okay, so you want a joke after the applauding joke. Yeah.
I want something like they wouldn't be applauding, because and I don't want to say.
Well, maybe you need one more thing from her. Like I don't know if she responds again, where it's like I don't, I don't come to a comedy club to be offended, or I don't, or something. Like maybe and then you have one more response to her response.
Yeah, no, I did used to do that. I used to have where do you usually go, or have you always done jokes about the disabled at comedy clubs. I said I used to. I could do them at a dance club, but I think that would be even more inappropriate.
Yeah,
I had I tried
Have
a
you
bunch
ever
of stuff.
said this? Like, this. I don't know. This just made me laugh. I think it may not. I don't think it works because you already have a seamless way of doing it from the beginning. But this is very funny for somebody to be like, "I have a disabled child at home," and it's like, "Look, you left a disabled child alone at your house. What are you, a monster?"
Yeah, that. Well, that's funny. That's like that. That's really funny. I did do a version of that, right? Like she goes, because I did a version. I did it. That's funny because that's really funny you say that because I did have a version, not that, but I said, she goes, I just said he's this. I would do the first part. I have to say I have a child at home, and I didn't think that joke was funny. That's why I did it here and not at your place. And she said, I just said he's disabled, and I'm offended. And I said, well, if you're offended because he's disabled, then I'm even more offended, right? It was like this ongoing thing where you left it. And what the hell are you doing leaving a child sitting at home? I think I did that once. It was a little harsh. It came off harsh coming from me. The whole point for me was that I misinterpret every line she says.
Well, the joke
right?
is it's W.C. Fields is what it is.
Yes.
It's the structure of that. So
yeah. So that's a success story.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I figured it out. I think what I want to say is I think I just remembered, or I want to say, and it's not really a traditional tag, but I think just to say, and I just want you people to know, because that's a perfect place for it. I know what to say. I know it. I got it.
Let us know. What do you got?
It's it's the whole joke is well, there wouldn't be what if there were people without arms in the audience? How do you think they would react? Well, I said, well, they wouldn't be applauding, okay? And it still feels like it needs a tag, but they wouldn't be applauding. I tell them to come because they wouldn't, And by the way, I want you people to know that I'm just as offended by that joke as you guys are pretending to be, right? right. That I want to say there. I think I'll put that there because I've been dying to use that somewhere. I want you guys to know, and I just want you guys to know, if you're offended by that joke, I'm just as offended as you. No, don't say that.
You just said it right. You said it right.
Yeah, I just said it right. Yeah, I just want you guys to know that I'm just as offended by that joke as you guys are pretending to be.
Boom.
Okay. I love my Alan. That's my Alan Alda Groucho whole thing, right? So
No, I love it. I love people. I mean, it's fun to kind of that. I miss that rhythm. It's fun.
Yeah. So that's okay. We can put a button on that, I think. I wish there was I do wish there was a tag, something along the lines of they wouldn't be applauding, okay, because that would be awkward, or they can't, or I don't want to say any of that. They wouldn't be applauding, and I'm not. But I don't know what I don't have anything. I feel like there's a little. They wouldn't be applauding because that would be wrong, or they wouldn't be applauding because they can't, or what? Because that's terrible. I don't.
Well, you already say it right. Like you don't need more than. I think it's done. I think this is a classic case of putting too much paint on the canvas.
Okay. Yeah.
I think you gotta move on to another masterpiece. Like
we're wrapping it up then. Let's just put a bow on it and move on.
You gotta stretch another canvas and and just start a new piece. Like I don't.
Take the W. Take the W.
Yeah. You're not. It's just like I'm sure a joke like that will organically tag itself. From like a real moment again, and so. I think that's the only way it tags itself was an actual another moment of it happening. All right, Adam, you have anything? What do you got?
Yeah, what do you got? What does Adam have?
What do you got? Just anything in your head. Not a big deal.
Let me see. Why don't we do New Year resolutions?
Okay, this is good.
What's that?
The resolution thing. The start over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is interesting because I feel like this week is a funny week because it's like we're speaking about sugar and all that, whereas I feel like this is like the gluttonous week of just gorging yourself with the rest of the pies that are left in the fridge, just eating all the candy canes and the sugar and stuff because January 1st, you're going into beast mode. I'm going into beast mode,
Right.
I'm going to be hydrated.
Right.
I'm going to have my schedule, So because that's exactly what I told myself like 2 hours ago. I was like, yeah, I'll just eat this week, and then January 1st, yeah, I'm getting it, baby.
Yeah,
So there
yeah.
is something funny about that, where you're just like, it's like you need some sort of like ridiculous marketing date to actually, take care of yourself. You know what I mean? Like we can't just take care of ourselves in a general way. Like we have to have some
So
sort of
this is a bit for you.
us, whatever. We're just discussing. I don't know. I'm just
I'm saying.
I'm just
Yeah.
spitballing how I feel
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it. And I think
Right,
it's
right,
like,
right.
because the thing is like we have to have like a, some sort of starting date, for like
No, because this is great. This ties right into the other stuff you were talking about.
yeah.
The other stuff, the addiction stuff. So then
Okay.
you wait for the new year, to do it.
Yeah.
And then like
This drives me crazy. Dry January. I'm like, all right, man. It's like, are you gonna go a month?
Yeah.
You gonna
Right,
go a
right.
month
Wow.
without the White
Yeah.
Claws? Are you gonna go
Yeah.
a whole 30 days? Oh, you're so brave.
Yeah.
16 years I've been dry knuckling this life. And you're gonna tell me about your dry January? Go screw yourself, Rotenbacher.
That's funny. That's funny. That's like you got 11 months of DWI, Charles Bukowski, barfly stuff going on. You know what I mean? And then
but January, whoa.
yeah, good for you.
Yeah, good for you. You're so
Somebody
brave
gets
with
a
your
gold
1
star.
month.
And then you know what would be great callback for you?
Yeah.
You should have oh my God, this would be great for you. If you have that you need to have that story. I was passed out in a Motel 6 in Des Moines, Iowa.
I love it.
With a
Okay.
dead hooker, and then every time you do it, let me tell you something, kid. Every time you do another loop, like you go, and then you do that earlier, and then you say the thing about the dry January. Let me tell you something, kids. I went to SeaWorld one time with a half bottle of Jack Daniels, and I took a swing at a Shamu, and the security beat me up in the back room and threw me into a dumpster. Okay, and then later on, another thing. Let me tell you something, right? On the same night that Shamu thing, you could make this an ongoing. Like your spiral, where it has to be very specific, very specific. It has to be a weird place. Oh, here he goes. Then if it's a dry January, right? Wait, that you might get into an interracial couple? Is that what? Is that, I don't really know what's going on here. This is the benefits of? Yeah, awesome. Better mood, more energy, less racism. Okay,
you keep your job.
You're going to be less. Okay. I was yelling racial slurs at one of the.
You were there. Were you there for that, Brian? Cool.
Yeah. I was at SeaWorld yelling racial slurs at one of the killer whales while they beat me over the head with two cops beat me over the head with sticks and tased me. You know what I mean?
No,
it has
I love
to be
all that.
all
I've been wanting to do that, so this is actually perfect. So then I do that, and then I say like and dry January, good for you for your 90 days.
And then you do all that stuff early, and then when you get to dry January, you go. Oh, dry January. Let me tell you something. One time I was at the Museum of Natural History I did half of a speedball of Coke and a thing and woke up in the back of a minivan on my way to Des Moines, Iowa. You know what I mean? Like it has to be that detailed. Like boom, boom,
I love
boom,
it. I love it. I think it's just like a very funny way to kind of like, people try to act like, they're being so on top of themselves because they're, the rest of the year they're just douchebags, but then they're, trashing their bodies. But January, hey, I got it together, man. I got this under control.
Yeah.
I went 30 days, shut up.
Yeah.
Dummy.
So you've got 11 months off the wagon. You know what I mean? Like, what
I wouldn't do to just have what's the purge? You just get you got a dry purge. Is that what it is?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
No, that's fun. I love that. Thank you, man. I think that's definitely a fun place to play. I had a funny thing. I thought it was very funny. First of all, saying out to comedians around the country, when you are in a situation where they, leave you at the airport and you have to wait for a flight or you have to sleep at the airport. I recommend any sort of Admiral's airline club. Those I don't know if you've been in those things. Those things they're amazing. They're worth every penny because you're in there and you're like, you get the leather couches and you got, the little buffet.
Oh, that's great.
They're phenomenal. It saved me. I was just like, I paid I had miles and it just saved my whole, it made everything great. But anyway, so I had this hat on, not this hat, but I have this hat and it's like it's a Ernest Tubbs record shop hat. Okay. It's a black hat, but it has like the military leaves on it. Right. And, and every time I wear it, somebody always says thank you for your service,
right?
and it's like, and then this one guy, like I was in the Admiral's Club or whatever. He comes up and he shakes my hand, and he's like, he was in like Vietnam or something, and he's just like, thank you, man. And he's like, you're in the military, and I was like, and he's like, he just grabbed my hand before I could tell him it was a record store hat. I was like, I've got a Hall & Oates record here.
No, you got a joke here. No, you got a joke here. Wait.
What is it?
Well, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
So what they don't know is I worked in customer service, or I worked at a service station, or something with the word service in it. Or I use the only service I've done is customer service, right? Like I hate to tell this guy. I didn't want to tell him that the closest I've been to.
I was a telemarketer in the 80s.
The most thanks you could give me for service is one time I was on the phone for 9 hours with customer service. Like that. That's what I'm talking about.
That's pretty funny. The only service I've ever done is
I did 2 tours of duty. I did 2 9-hour tours of duty on customer service with AT&T or something. You know what I mean? Or Spectrum cable.
Yeah,
that's funny. Like
that's
something
funny.
like that is really funny. Like I didn't want to tell the guy that the closest I've been to being deserving of thanks for my service was I was online with Spectrum customer service for over 5 hours, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like that. That's
It was so funny because he like shook my hand, and then as soon as I told him I wasn't in the military, he just like depleted, and he was just like just dropped his hand. Just dropped his hand and just walked away. I felt like such a loser. I almost joined the military right then just to like prove him that I'm man enough to do it.
I signed up
right as there.
That's really funny.
Like, yeah, I was
so ashamed I signed up. I was so ashamed at that point. I signed up that morning.
So the next signed up.
Yeah. That's how they get you. But I gotta go soon, by the way. But
okay, let's go. I love it.
But no, one last thing. The Admiral Club thing, that is hilarious because it's just, you see the people on the outside. You're like in an aquarium, a bubble of comfort. And you can see the other people. They keep them in there, and you can actually see them, but you can't go in. They're looking at you. You're getting a foot massage.
Bubble of comfort. I love that. That's so funny.
You're drinking ambrosia. They're feeding you grapes.
I leave my bag and go to the bathroom. Like, I trust everybody. Like, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it.
I've got a woman giving me a foot rub while she's feeding me grapes.
Oh,
like that.
That's funny.
That's funny. Write that down.
Foot rub grapes. Yeah. I mean, it's the greatest thing ever. All right. Yeah. So get your miles, kids. That's how you become a comic. On airline miles.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome. Well, have a happy New Year, boys. This was a great episode.
Brother.
I feel like this is a good way to start the new year.
Yeah.
And we'll get it going, man. I'm excited.
All right. We're going to start the new year good.
Well, folks, that's our show. It's time for us to go. Make sure to follow us, give us a like, drop us a comment, and always subscribe. We're at Chasing Comedy on all the socials. We hope you had a gas, had some laughs, and maybe you learned something too. Until next time, we're Brian and Dustin.